The Alabama Crimson Tide has just defeated the Auburn Tigers by a score of 28-14. The Alabama Crimson Tide will move to 9-3 on the season and win a critical game in the Iron Bowl. Thumbs up for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Did you know this? The Crimson Tide is undefeated this season at home. Now, when we look to the stats of this particular game, Jalen Milroe, 18 of 24 passing, 256 yards through the air, 1 interception, but on the ground, 17 carries for 104 with 3 touchdowns. What I want to ask you right now inside the comment box, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you assess the performance of Jalen Milroe? Jalen Milroe has 350 yards of offense tonight. And look, the thing was, he fumbled the football. He threw an interception. He still hasn't thrown a touchdown pass in SEC play since October 19th. But when he is on, he is very difficult to stop. And that was the game plan tonight, as he had 17 carries for 104 yards with 3 rushing touchdowns. One of the things that I did like about Alabama's offense tonight, and I do have some gripes, but one of the things was that they finally fed Jam Miller. Did you know this? Coming into this game, Jam Miller's season high for running the football was 16 carries, right? Which dates back to South Florida. In this game, Jam Miller had 28 carries for 84 yards on the night. All right, so Jam Miller getting work. He had 84 yards. It was Justice Haynes who did score a touchdown out of the running back room. He had 7 carries for 20 yards. Now, I want to give a game ball real quick to Jeremy Bernard. Jeremy Bernard had a stellar night, came up with some really good catches, 7 catches for 111 yards on the night. He was targeted 10 times. Big-time players rise up in big-time games. On the defensive side of the ball, I want to talk about a couple guys, and I want to give out some game balls. Look, I said this during the broadcast. The number one reason why it's important to recruit in-state guys is because they understand the importance of a game like this. Now, you want to know who played championship level football, and I know we're going to talk about, should this team make the playoffs or whatever in just a second. But you know who played championship level football tonight? Malachi Moore. Malachi Moore left his heart out on that field. Malachi Moore was exceptional in the first half. On third downs, this guy was absolutely critical. To go out on your final game at Bryant-Denny Stadium the way he did, man, props to that guy. And you know what? We made a comparison to him and Brian Branch, who plays for the Detroit Lions. I think he's going to be stellar in the NFL. Props to Malachi Moore. He did a fantastic job in this particular game. I also wrote down Damani Jackson. For whatever reason, we don't talk about Damani Jackson that often. Let me get this from you inside the comment box. Damani Jackson has the option to come back next season. Do you think he goes in the NFL? His play tonight, and something that I've never seen from Damani Jackson, and he's played really well throughout the entire year, been a very steady player. He laid the absolute wood. Not once, but twice, okay? Damani Jackson absolutely coming with it. And then, look, Bray Hubbard, this guy has a nose for the football. And sometimes you're just in the right place at the right time because of execution. And Bray Hubbard coming up with a timely interception for the Alabama Crimson Tide is something that also gets you pumped up because you know the guy didn't complain. He waited his turn. And, look, he's the guy. Even if Keon Sabb was to come back somehow and be healthy, Bray Hubbard is that starting safety. So, the secondary for Alabama has been criticized all season long, and rightfully so. But they have played well throughout the back end of the season. Xavier Brown, he was beat. He was cooked. But he came back and was able to make an interception as well. So Alabama wins tonight by a score of 28-14. A couple other game notes that I wanted to go over in the Iron Bowl. Auburn had 399 yards of offense. I'm not going to lie. They were able to move the football. But one of the key stats in this game was that the red zone defense by Alabama, right? Auburn had opportunities to score in the first half specifically. They missed a field goal, but Alabama's defense came up with some really big play inside the red zone. A shout out to Jahad Campbell, came up with a monster play as well for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So I know what you're thinking. What next? What now for the Alabama Crimson Tide? Well, we know that they had to beat Auburn to even have an opportunity to be thinking about the playoffs, right? Do they have an opportunity to make the playoffs? Yes. And my question to you, and we're going to talk about this more going forward, do you think that this team deserves to make the playoffs? Yes or no? And then think about this too. Do you think that they will make the playoffs now because Clemson lost? Well, remember this. Tonight, Miami lost to Syracuse, which means Clemson has another shot to make the college football playoffs by playing SMU in the ACC championship game. Any given Saturday, right? Ohio State also lost to Michigan, meaning that Penn State and Oregon will play in the big championship game. Notre Dame took care of USC, and Tennessee beat Vanderbilt. So I think what it comes down to, when all things are said and done, I think it's going to be between Alabama, and I think it's going to be between SMU and Miami. Or because I think if Clemson loses to SMU, they're probably out. So, look, they lost 3 games. 2 of them were unranked opponents. I understand that. They do have a win against Georgia, and that is what the committee has been talking about for a long time. That's why it was dangerous to see if Georgia would have lost in 8 overtimes to Georgia Tech, okay? So, I personally think that Alabama is going to get in the playoffs, and I was thinking about it. With Ohio State losing, you got to think that Ohio State probably slips to maybe that 5 or 6 spot. Now, if Alabama gets in, who's to say they go in as the true 12? What if they go in as the 11? I kind of think that these are my predictions, okay? I think Alabama makes the playoffs, and I think Alabama is either the 12 or the 11 seed, and I think Alabama will be on the road in the first round playing either Notre Dame or on the road playing Ohio State. A lot of college football left to play, but I do think that Alabama is in. And here's why. Look, a couple reasons. I think when this team is on, they are absolutely one of the best 12 teams. I get it. It is polarizing to watch this team go up, go down. You don't know what team you're going to get on the field. But I think them beating Georgia is something that the playoff committee continues to talk about. I think the fact that they have Jalen Milroe, who could go feast or famine, is something that they also talk about. And tonight, honestly, it was like a game of feast and famine because he fumbled the ball. Then he would run for a touchdown. Then he fumbled the ball. Then he'd run for a touchdown. So look, celebrate the W. Celebrate this win tonight. And celebrate the fact that Alabama is going to get into the playoffs. All right. They're not going to be left out of the playoffs. And at the end of the day, this is my final thing. At the end of the day, it's about money, okay? Alabama draws massive TV ratings. And this year, because they're up and down, people will be tuning in to see the Alabama Crimson Tide in that first round of the playoffs. And who knows, they could get hot. I'm telling you, maybe they get hot. Everybody's beatable. Everybody. This year, everybody's beatable. You saw Georgia Tech almost beat Georgia. You saw Ohio State lose to unranked Michigan. You just saw unranked Syracuse beat Miami. You know how they used to say any given Sunday? Any given Saturday. Steven, I see you inside the comment box, man. You better wake up, though, man, because your Alabama Crimson Tide just punched their playoff ticket. I appreciate you guys joining me tonight on the Watch Along. Please stay tuned for other videos as they pop off right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Elizabeth Reed, for the super chat at the back end. Thank you so much, fam. I'll catch you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube. See you guys.